how to get customers through LinkedIn, question mark. Your LinkedIn profile should look as if you're the CEO of a 1,000-person company, even if you're a solopreneur or one person. Like if you look at what, say, the CEOs of Google and all these massive companies, your LinkedIn profile should still look like theirs because it's the same template. There's no excuse why you shouldn't have that.
Guys, Colin, so obviously your background is LinkedIn. That's the main sort of avenue in which you're teaching people and for your company. Can you tell us, like, what should people do when they first sign up on LinkedIn? Like, we have a lot of people who are new, transferring over from Twitter to LinkedIn. Maybe they're not, so professional, so to speak. How do you set up your profile and like just make it attractive in the first place?
Yeah, so you kind of want to raise on LinkedIn. The way it works is you kind of want to raise your engagement to like 500 connections, because if you're anything below that, your profile will just look immediately fresh, and you obviously don't want that. I read a thing from before. Your LinkedIn profile should look as if you're the CEO of a 1,000-person company, even if you're a solopreneur or one person. Like they shouldn't be able to tell that you're, you shouldn't be able to tell that you have a small company because because you have a bad LinkedIn profile. So typically giveaways on that are, not having the company page linked properly, just having a poor banner, or not having the About Me section done properly. Like if you look at what, say, the CEOs of Google and all these massive companies, your LinkedIn profile should still look like theirs because it's the same template. There's no excuse why you shouldn't have that. So like the simple things that people can do is just like focus on the top header to start. So it's like your value proposition should be the first thing that they see, that someone sees in your profile is like that stands out is the banner. So I put in, you want to have your value proposition in there. So tell the person what they're going to get in the rest of the page. So like, for example, mine is like a fake Google search where it says how to get customers through LinkedIn, question mark. And then it's like press enter, and then it's like visit my website to learn how, So it's me trying to be funny there and just explain, I'll show you how to get customers through LinkedIn. So straight away they understand what's on my page for them. So it makes them way more likely to scroll down. Second thing that I would have just in the headline. So focus on the first 100 characters of the headline. So when you do a post, when you do a post in the timeline, people see your name, roughly the first 100 characters. I don't know the exact character count, but the first roughly 100 characters, and then a link to your website or whichever you have there. So you want to focus on getting some good stuff in that. So like, if you're the CEO of a company, put that in. If you're the CEO of, ColinGallagher.com, then don't put that in because it's not legit. If you have a authoritative job title, lead with that and go, job title at company name. Ideally, the company would be a big name. If you don't have that, then even founder at whatever is fine. And then follow that up with kind of like some social proof, ideally, if possible. So a reason why they should listen to you over the millions of other people who are actually posting on the platform. Another little easy win that I do with people as well is if you don't have a landing page, it's better to have no landing page than a bad one. So if you have a bad one, just don't link it, because it's just people are going to get on it and get confused, and then you won't ever speak to them, and they'll be like, why do you?
You'll lose
them. Yeah, because they'll just get confused. There's no point. The goal of all this is for them to land on your page, take the next step, and then eventually end up on a sales call with you or a call. So I just say, cut the landing page out and say, DM me keyword to learn more about how I can help you or whatever. I've done that with a good few people, and they just get, a couple of posts in there or a couple of DMs within the same day. So that's a nice little win. So I just focus on those three to get started. And then have a good design, make yourself look professional, and get as many connections as possible by posting content. So
it's interesting because I obviously never had a job, entrepreneur, but in college I sort of prepared my profile thinking, in that professional networking standpoint, and it actually served me well when I started my first agency. Was able to land a bunch of clients exclusively off LinkedIn. Just because the profile was done right and it was professional and niche specific to marketing. And I wasn't even doing any content or anything. How important do you think it is having connections? A lot of people that are in our accelerator, they don't have that many connections to do in-mail to. So unlike Twitter or IG, where they're doing outreach for clients on DMs, they're hitting me up being like, how do I reach out to people on LinkedIn if I have no in-mails? Do I have to connect with them first? How do you deal with that?
Yeah, it depends on what the goal of the LinkedIn is. If it's to get clients, then yeah, obviously you want to have as many people in your connection list as possible, because when they're connected to you, you can reach out to them without having to send a connection request, obviously. Um, the other thing is, then if they're connected to you, they're seeing your content, and if you're posting about stuff in your niche and they're related to that, it's way more likely that they will see it if they're your connection. So it depends on what the goal is. Like if someone is coming here and they're listening to this and they're like, I want to start using LinkedIn to get clients, then like I would just say you need to just do everything to get your connection list up by as much as possible, as fast as possible. You're limited to
Whatever
30.
trick.
Go on.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
I mean, should they go as far as like trying to find people who they know in real life just to get that number up, or just to get the branches kind of going out?
so
I saw like a post the other day where it's like with each connection, do you know what I'm saying? It like drastically increases your amount of options because of the people. Like if I connect with you, Colin, and you have like 100 billion connections, right? Like now I'm second connected with a bunch of people,
yeah,
right? So how do you recommend people actually get those connections if they have no
yeah. So I'd take it in stages. So basically, 0 to 500 is just get everyone in there as fast as you can. It doesn't matter who they are, because once you get to 500 connections, then it just goes to 500 plus. So you can't tell how many connections they have after that. You can only see how many followers they have. So you want to just get that up to 500 ASAP, whether that's inviting your family and friends or whatever. It doesn't really matter. You want to just get there. The way that I would do it is I would like turn on a connection campaign. You can send about 200. You can send 200 connections per week. So in roughly 4 weeks, you should have your 500
an
connections.
expand a
Yeah,
situation?
exactly. Yeah, yeah. Ideally, you want to. I
Yeah.
would, just to try and expedite that a bit faster, I would connect with people who are posting content daily in, or at least commenting daily in niches related to what I'm doing. So they're more likely then to engage on your content, and then it'll give it a bit extra of a push. You know what I mean? And then I would just post, as many times a day as you can. The recommended is one generally, but like you can do more if you can manage the volume. But usually quality deteriorates with volume. So one per day would be ideal. And then just get
Got
those
it.
people commenting on your stuff, and yeah, just get there ASAP.
So going back to Stefan from Expanding, one of the first guests on this podcast, great guy. I used it a lot with clients with my outbound agency. We had like maybe 30 clients we were running these campaigns on from the CEOs. Do you really think, is that like your position, that people should automate that type of thing? Like obviously you're a big proponent of AI. How much of LinkedIn related activities do you think should be automated in some form or another?
I think you can automate the whole thing if you do it well. But the issue is like people do it badly and try and automate it, and that's when it becomes a problem. So it's like if someone's a really good at automation and they're able to, like when I say automation in that case, you can still only send 200 connection requests per week. Like that's your max. So then it's like someone who I would say is really good at using AI and automation in this scenario would be someone who personalizes at scale properly with AI. If they're able to do that using Clay and things like that, then automate the whole thing. That's grand. It's just that's most people don't know how to do that, and most people get it wrong, and they end up burning loads of connections by just spamming pitches, and that just it really doesn't work anymore. So outreach on LinkedIn at the moment is like I focus on, just because of the low volume, I try and keep it higher quality and try and be as targeted as possible. If I'm going to use automated campaigns, I want to reach out to job title specific with with valuable assets for them. So for example, I did a campaign recently. It was fully automated, but it was like I wrote a post about how fractional consultants can get clients on LinkedIn, and then I created a campaign to share it with them. So like that's value first or whatever you want to call it, but it was very specific because it was to a job title, and I could be mass personalized if you want to call it that. Um, So yeah, it really depends on, you can automate the whole thing as long as you do a good job of it. But if you don't, you're just going to spam people and piss them off. So yeah.
Nice. What, with your company, like what types of clients do you serve? Like how does your business actually operate as a LinkedIn business? Like what's the, obviously I know the pitch of who you're trying to help, but what are the logistics of the business?
Do you mean like what client types is it, or? Oh
Correct.
yeah. So on the agency, so the ghostwriting agency side, it tends to be just marketing agencies because that's where all the demand is. It seems to be the generic thing
Sure.
that ghostwriters target marketing agencies, and it is because that's who buys. Because they get it, and they're the ones where I can generate the best demand for. I've actually wrote for like a load of cold email agencies. It works really well for cold email agencies. So I've wrote for like five or six. Um, but marketing agencies in general, I'm helping like an Amazon agency at the moment, TikTok, things like that. Then on the like consulting side, it's more your like consultants, freelancers, people kind of like, between, anywhere from 15, like 5 to 15K a month. And they're trying to get more stability and get inbound leads and move away from like the whole referral based income where you don't know whether you're going to get 10 or zero this month.
Whether it's guaranteed or not.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah. So I kind of help them stabilize that by building a LinkedIn that drives inbound towards them, and also set up a outbound mechanism as well to kind of take control of that. Um, and then obviously using AI to create the content is a big part of that as well. But they're the two outline avatars. Yeah, it's always B2B. I don't can't do any B. I'm terrible at B2C marketing, so can't do any of that. So it's all B2B.
Nice. And I guess, obviously, what, how do you bring in clients for that? Obviously, you're a big content creator on multiple platforms. Is that like the main way that you get new customers? I've had a number of people on who are like big like Dakota Robertson is a guy who we had on who was talking about all the different ghost writing stuff that he's doing. Do you mainly gain clients through like a social proof of the kind of work you do? Just walk me through the dynamics of how you've grown since you've been doing these companies.
Yeah, so it's been all the clients that have gone until this point have been, I'd say maybe 90% through inbound, and then maybe 10% through outreach up until this point. But all the higher quality ones were from just inbound DMs, and funnily enough, it's not like the fancy funnels and landing pages and blah blah blah. It's just more, the best clients I ever got have just like ignored all that and just DM me and say, "Hey, can we chat?" You know what I mean?
It's
Like,
great.
as in,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
they don't have time for all the,
True warm
yeah,
leads.
they don't have time for all the like
Yeah,
bullshit and like all these fancy landing pages and funnels and stuff like that. But like the
yeah.
the real big players, like the CEOs for the ghostwriting agency, they just like DM me. It's like, hey, I want to know more, and I just give
Nice.
them the information. If they like it, we hop on a call and we go from there. I am starting to run paid at the moment for the consulting program, so
You
I'll
are.
report back on that. There's obviously a lot of learning around that, but I'm starting to run paid, so that percentage might change. So yeah, it's been all just mainly inbound. It's someone like, I'm posting about LinkedIn, so people on LinkedIn are going to be interested in that. So it's naturally going to be a bit easier uh, for me, obviously. What I would say to someone, like, if they're all, it's kind of find where your audience is and find where the engagement is. Like, so if someone's thinking about using content to get leads, it's like, can you find five creators who are doing pretty well? I won't say going viral, but like doing pretty well, talking about the same topics that you would talk about related to your expertise. So if they aren't there, I'd probably look at other ways of, like, I'd probably try and just
Right.
build an email list, like through paid or through cold email, and just build a newsletter around your topic is what I would do if I was in like a weird niche like cybersecurity or something, because there's no point posting about that. Um, so
Right.
I would just go straight and try and build an email list through the other way. Um, but yeah, for me, it's kind of easier just because it's LinkedIn. But you want to be able to talk about broad enough topics that a good group of people are going to be interested in, and then you have a select number of those who you can actually sell to. So, I have 32,000 followers or something. nowhere near all of those are
Right.
qualified at all. Um, but that doesn't
It's top of the
that
funnel.
doesn't matter. It's top of funnel. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. What do you know, obviously you heard some of my kind of long term plans before this. What's your goal with the company? Is like, where are you trying to take it, in the next 3 or 5
Oh, I have
years?
such an inconclusive answer for this, man. To be honest, I'm not like a big person for setting like 5 year plans and stuff like that because I actually did try to do all that before and it doesn't really work for me. I'm just trying to build a business that I really enjoy being a part of during the day. You know what I mean? And it's going to be really stressful at times, and I get that. It's not about not. Yeah, so it's not about like building something to exit or make millions of dollars, although that's probably a byproduct of it going well. It's just more about building something that I enjoy being a part of every day because I'm just going to keep doing it until I die. I'm probably never going to retire. So like I'm making good money, but like I'm not going to sit here and say I want to make $300,000 a month because I don't particularly want to do that. That's not saying that that won't happen at some point, but it's not like my kind of goal, if that makes sense. Like I actually spoke to a psychologist about this because I was kept going around in circles about why can't I set goals and work towards them, and he was just kind of like, maybe that's just not your thing. Maybe you shouldn't do that. And I was like, well, yeah, maybe. And I just started to listen to him a bit more. So yeah, just build something that I really enjoy and like obviously provides a lot of value to the customers and should add value to everyone who's involved. And if I'm enjoying the days, then I feel like that's kind of good. That's kind of good enough for me in the long term, realistically.
You can't make it about the end numerical goal. Just talking to psychologists and people, it's like you got to make it about your purpose, right?
Yeah, that's the thing. It's just trying to like, cause you can set a massive goal like I want to make $10 million, but like that's just going to be an anticlimax because it's only a number in your bank account. Um, and so I'd rather just like you would spend like say years getting there, but then that time is gone, and then you're just way older, and you don't, you're just going to set another goal to make $100 million, and like that's already happened to me. Like in the sense of when I was starting out, I remember saying to my friends, I just want to make 7 grand a month, and I'd be happy with that. And I'm, way past that
Yeah.
now. Yeah, but
Yeah. Of
I'm still wanting to go more. Like it doesn't go away. You know what I mean? I've hammered
course.
of course, hammered those goals, so it's just kind of like may as well just enjoy what I'm doing and just keep growing for as long as this does. But that's not to say I may end up making to 100, 250 or whatever. We'll just see how it goes.
Cool. Nice. Colin, lots of good value points there. Um, any other final takeaways or just tying these together, things you've learned that you might not have expected going into the entrepreneurial journey?
Might not have expected.
Hard lessons, tough experiences.
Yeah, you have to be like really resolute in knowing what you want to do because if you there's so many different things to do, like there's so many options, like there's 1,000 ways to do it right. And I feel like everyone can get stuck in the next big tactic and doing this, that, and the other. But you just want to kind of go your own way and be like resolute in your decision. So if you decide I'm going to do this for the next 3 months, you have to stick at that and make sure that that will work. And don't be distracted by what other people are saying is going to work for them or what's working for you or whatever. Like they're probably right as well, but you're also right. You also could be right. You know what I mean? So it's not like I think everyone's looking for like a secret sauce or there's just
And
one
there
way
is
to do
none.
it. And there is none. Yeah. But it's just there. Well, there's not. There is actually. There's thousands of secret sauces, but they're not
Right.
all secret. Right. It's just there's so many ways to do it, right? So just figure out your own way and go that direction, because you'll just end up getting caught in everyone else's stuff otherwise, and you won't get anywhere. Um, so that's my thing. And then also like if I'm very wary of getting into business again with business partners because I'm not going to say they were bad business partners because they weren't, but we just wanted different things, and that's a massive pull on any sort of a company because, um, you know, if they want to bring the company fundamentally one direction and I'm trying to bring it a different direction, then we can't agree on anything meaningful. So, you know, I think we should do one thing, they'll think I should do another. The reasons behind that are the causes for that, and if we don't agree on that, we're never going to be able to make it work. And I think a lot of people get into business with partners early, and then maybe ignore yellow flags and red flags and everything like that. You kind of want to listen to those flags at the very start and be cautious about who you get into business bed with, and make sure that you're actually aligned and like, okay, this is the direction I want to take this. Um, and here's why. And that's probably why, like as I mentioned to the last point, I don't want to make it to like 100 million and blah blah blah. And they did, and there was the ways to get there were very different as well. I wanted to grow the business because in a certain way, they wanted to grow a different way, but probably wanted to do it faster than me, and I thought that was not smart. So yeah, I think it's just you have to kind of know yourself and what you want and where you want to take things, and be careful with who you match up with. It's a big part of it.
Good points there. Colin, where can people find you and follow your writings and ideas?
They can find me on LinkedIn. Surprise, surprise. So just type my name, Colin Gallagher, and also LinkedIn AImastery.com is I've a playbook for $1 there on how to get customers on LinkedIn. Irresistible offer. So it's just $1. Go for
Okay.
it.
Yeah, we'll link that in the show notes.
Sure.
Cool. Colin, thanks so much for coming on. This is the One Network.
So thank you very much, Chris. Have a good one.
Storm.